And as I, over the last number of years, began to think about my blessings, I just encourage you to reflect on your blessings as I say some of the things that were important to me. You know, the roof over your head, the meals you eat, your friends, your freedom, your family, your employment, your time with loved ones. Maybe it's somebody's understanding manner. I asked myself a number of what I thought were easy, but really found out they were hard questions. Like, why do I live in Canada and not a developing country? You know, why do I have the freedom to choose my career? Why can my children travel safely to school each and every day? I mean, you know what it's like outside today. How come I get to shop for fresh food any day of the year? When I go to bed at night, why am I clean, warm, well-fed? Why do I enjoy this level of health? You know, when I really think about it, I don't know why. All I know is that I'm very, very fortunate. I remember a couple of years ago, I had the privilege of listening to this, I'll say a kid speak. He was 22 years old. He had already been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice. And he was talking about us, North Americans. He said, it's as if we've won the lottery of life. And I mean, we all have so much to be thankful for. And to me, when I realized it was as if my life was handed to me on a silver platter, and yes, I know you still have to do things, but when life was handed to me on a silver platter, it just created an overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything I'd received in my life. And it radically changed the way I looked at giving, which really transformed my life. And I give because I have a need to give, not because somebody else has a need to receive. And I want to say that again. I give because I have this need to give, not because someone else has a need to receive. An engineer, that initially struck me as odd and it captivated me, but I think it makes perfect sense. Everyday example, say you're invited to a friend's house for dinner. You know, you bring a bottle of wine, right? Do you bring a bottle of wine because Chris and Kellyanne need another bottle of wine? No. You bring it because you're grateful of this gift of hospitality. And it's almost as if it's a law of nature. You know, consider the Dead Sea. I mean, the Dead Sea is it's like a vessel. I mean, the Jordan River pours into it and nothing goes out. And because of that, it cannot sustain life. I mean, for a lake to be able to produce life, it must be more like a conduit, right? So as it flows in, it flows out. So is there a message in this for you and I and humanity? Are we to live our lives as vessels, holding everything that comes into our lives? Or are we to live as conduits, channeling what comes into our life back out and into the lives of others? I have much to be grateful for. And I get that from my reflection on my own life. In the past week, none of us has been oblivious to what's happening in other parts of the world. You know, what we saw last night on TV with, you know, artists coming around to support Haiti and the people of Haiti. This is a medical tent, and this was a picture on the cover of the Chronicle Herald 2 days ago with sailors from the Athabasca helping a medical team. And I just want to read to you a note I got yesterday from someone I know who's on the Athabascan, We had a team of 50 ashore working on 2 projects, one with the Canadian Medical Assistance Team. These amazing group of volunteers, surgeons, nurses, and search and rescue paramedics have a very well-run and large medical clinic. We provide the security and orderly services and have tripled their productivity since we started working with them. We build stretchers, set up tents, move patients around the city, so all they need to do is focus solely on aid. Some sad sights, but overall a happy story. Second project, an orphanage. An American man and a Canadian woman have an orphanage near the UN compound. There are 30 children, most under 3 years old. The house is intact, but with evidence of structural damage and ongoing tremors, they cannot stay in the house. We built a patio of cinder blocks with mattresses on them for the children to sleep. Then we built a frame and secured a tarp over it. Sounds sad, but they were so happy. The kids all sang songs while we worked. We will return tomorrow for the doctor to look at the kids. The city of Legon is completely destroyed, but spirits are very high. I don't get it. Looks like back to business here with small markets opening. If you look at the image on the PowerPoint, I circled a woman who's with her baby. Amongst this tragedy and devastation, if you look at her face closely, she has a smile on her face that you couldn't wipe off. She's seeing what she has. What do we learn from the people of Haiti? One of the things we can think of is, I'm so grateful I live in a country where we're not subject to earthquakes, right? But that's not the message I really want you to take from this. The message and the lesson that the Haitian people are giving us is that amidst the destruction and the tragedy, is that gratitude can be found. And if you look at that mother's face as she's holding her baby, she sees what she has. And so for us, how do we build this disposition of gratitude? Well, it begins by seeing what we already have. And on your chair when you came in, there was a card. And on one side of the card it says, I'm grateful for. And I want you to do an exercise with this. So if you have a pen, dig your pen out. At home, take your pen out and use a book, because I know you don't have a card. If you don't have a pen, that's okay. You can write with your mind. What I want you to do, and I'm going to stop talking in about for a minute or two, I want you to write down 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. You write down as much as you want to, things that you're grateful for. And if you don't have your pen, use your mind. And just notice everything. What is it that you're grateful for? It may be tangible things. They may be intangible things, like a loving home that you were brought up in, or the freedom that you enjoy. It might be your new car, or a house, or a relationship. So, I'm just going to be quiet for a minute or so.